Hey everybody, Mr. John from the Meredith Public Library here, back at you once again with another episode of the Quarantine Theater. Today I have another installment of the Overdrive 5, where I take a look at 5 titles available for you to read right now through Overdrive. Today's episode is going to be rated J for juvenile, meaning I've pulled these books from my juvenile collection. These are going to be good for middle schoolers and younger, but really anybody will enjoy them. I love all these books. I'm also going to look at graphic novels today. So I know, especially when I was growing up, graphic novels were not considered real literature. You couldn't read a comic book and then write a book report on it. And I think generally our opinions around the nation have changed on graphic novels. We have some amazing artists working right now. Graphic nonfiction is a huge genre. So these are real books. And the real reason that I think that they're important, and especially in a classroom setting, is first of all, they're much more accessible than a book. A thick block of text can be pretty intimidating. It's like a wall to a lot of kids. So graphic novels are a great way to get kids excited about reading. Also, just the neurological science of graphic novels. It takes one part of our brain to process the art, another part of our brain to access the text, and then we have to combine them together into a cohesive idea in our heads. And that's just great exercise, great brain exercise, and really important, I think. So again, Overdrive, if you've forgotten, is a downloadable books consortium. If you are a New Hampshire Public Library patron, surf on over to nh.overdrive.com or pull up one of the apps. I use the Overdrive app, but I recommend the Libby app. It's the new and improved app. Once you get there, all you'll need is your library card number to start reading books right now today. If you're a Meredith Public Library patron, don't have your library card number, you've lost a piece of plastic or whatever, just shoot us an email, librarian@meredithlibrary.org, and we'll get you hooked up and reading today. All right, so our first title is Illegal. This is a tough one. This is a fictionalized version of events that are actually happening today. We follow Ito from his Ghana, his village in Ghana, where he's basically been left alone. His parents have gone to look for work in Europe. His brother then followed. He's been left with an alcoholic uncle, and it's just awful. He has to leave. So we're told that alternating timelines here, both from the boat on the Mediterranean, as you can see on the cover, which is overloaded, obviously, and then we jump back and follow his journey across the desert through Africa and everything he had to go through just to get on that boat in the first place. This is an intense book. It's an important book, something that I really push into kids' hands all the time. It's something that I think more people need to be aware of, different parts of our world and what children are going through every day. I also want to point out, you look down, the author there is a name you probably recognize, although you might not know how to pronounce it. That is Eoin Colfer, the author of the Artemis Fowl series. And this is also the same team that he worked together with on the Artemis Fowl graphic novels. Andrew Donkin and the Italian illustrator Giovanni Rigano do great work together here. And as I said, they did this whole Artemis Fowl series together, so they've worked together well. And I've paid that forward into Illegal. So the title is based on a quote by Elie Wiesel, the author of Night. You probably read that in high school. I know I did. The quote is right here. "You who are so-called illegal aliens must know that no human being is illegal. That is a contradiction in terms. Human beings can be beautiful or more beautiful. They can be fat or skinny. They can be right or wrong. But illegal? How can a human being be illegal?" Really great book. Again, some big, heavy subjects here, but I am totally comfortable putting this in the hands of a middle schooler. It's something I think more kids at that age need to read and be aware of. I also want to, while I'm talking about this, pull up a novel, a prose novel, A Story Like the Wind. I highly recommend this. It's got some great art in it as well, although it is a novel. Covers the same sort of story, a group of refugees on a boat in the middle of the Mediterranean. And they use music. They share their life stories. They're from all kinds of different countries. They wound up on the same boat together, and they share their stories to me. It's really beautiful book. I love that one. But Illegal was our first graphic novel, available today on Overdrive. All right, our second one is Captain Raptor and the Perilous Planet. A real hard left turn here from our first title. Now, this is for younger audiences. We're kind of straddling the line between picture book and graphic novel here, so it's a good introduction to the graphic novel genre for younger readers. This is a space travel parody, really. We follow Captain Raptor and his dinosaur crew. A lot of the aesthetics are based on stuff like Buck Rogers in the 25th century and Lost in Space, this sort of old-fashioned view of space travel. A lot of fun. But this is just a beautiful, beautiful book. I want to check out some of these pictures here. I mean, that's just, look at that. That's amazing. The use of color, light, composition is just amazing. It's beautiful, beautiful books. Again, this is for a younger audience. This is a lower elementary school audience, but I love the art. I mean, look at that. Anybody's going to enjoy that. So it's a great, bedtime read that a parent's not going to hate. While I'm talking about dinosaurs in weird places, I would be remiss if I did not mention this YA novel. Battlesaurus is the series. First book is Rampage at Waterloo. This is sort of an alternate history in which dinosaurs never died out and they're used in battle. We're in the Napoleonic era here. Really, really entertaining. I love that book. It's a lot of fun. I mean, look at that cover. How could you not love that cover? That's great. All right, that was Captain Raptor, available now on Overdrive. And our next title is The Cardboard Kingdom. First of all, this is not to be mistaken with another popular graphic novel, Cardboard by Doug Tendapel. I get kids are confused a lot. They come in looking for one and accidentally take out the other. They're both great books. Cardboard Kingdom is definitely for a younger crowd here. Written by Chad Sell. Well, not written by Chad Sell. Created and illustrated by Chad Sell, but he uses 10 different collaborating writers. So this is kind of an anthology. It would take place in one neighborhood from a bunch of different kids' points of view, and how over the course of a summer, a bunch of diverse kids, both their ethnicity and their likes and dislikes, come together through the use of their imagination and become a great group of friends. This is really, really fun, really sweet. I really love this one. You're going to enjoy it. Remind me a lot of Awkward. Awkward, if you don't know, first book in the Berrybrook Middle School series by Svetlana Chmakova. This is more of a middle school book, but the same idea here. Really sweet, realistic look at a diverse group of kids and their relationships. It's another beautiful series. So Cardboard Kingdom does have a sequel that is expected, I believe, in 2021. Hopefully that's still on track. But if you need more Cardboard Kingdom after reading this before 2021, Chad Sell has released Halloween.exe, a really short addition to this series, available on his website, chadsellcomics.com. So I love Cardboard Kingdom. That's sweet. Definitely a lower elementary school crowd, but I think, again, everybody's going to love this one. Really, really good book. All right, up next we have New Kid by Jerry Craft. This is probably the best graphic novel for this age group that I think has come out in the last couple of years. Jerry Craft, has written dozens of graphic novels before this, but this was his real mainstream breakout. He said he wanted to write a book similar to Raina Telgemeier's books, Sister, Smile, that sort of thing, drama, but for his kids, so that his African American sons have a book that reflects them, their faces, and their lives. It's brought up in this book, but too often books for this age group with African American main characters are often about drugs and violence and strife and pain in the inner city, and that's just not the life of most African Americans in our country. So he wanted to write this to give a reflection of what his sons' lives may actually be. So the main character winds up at a private school where he's one of the only kids of color in his grade. This is a book you're going to want to read several times. I read it once, really entertaining, went back and read it again just to get a better idea of some of the bigger topics that he's writing about. I had never heard the term microaggressions until I read this book. Now, microaggressions, if you've never heard that term, are just the small, everyday, like mini racism that people run into. Something as simple as confusing the names of the two black kids, which happens in this book. Happens with teachers. The English teacher gets called coach all the time because they're the only two black teachers in school. Also deals with the main character, his having to change his behavior, his look, his body language as he takes the train from his neighborhood out to this affluent private school. Again, this is just a beautiful, beautiful book in the vein of something like Be Prepared by Vera Broskal, about a daughter of a Russian immigrant, or the classic American-born Chinese by Jean Lin Yang, about a young Chinese boy in America. I'm never going to be a black kid. I'm never going to be a Russian immigrant. I'm never going to be a Chinese kid ashamed of his heritage. But through fiction and graphic novels like this, I'm able to gain some empathy and some insight into their lives, which makes me a better person, I think. These are really, really great books. But New Kid, like I said, one of the best graphic novels for this age group I've read in a long time. There was a sequel planned, supposed to come out. Let me see. It was originally expected in October. I'm wondering if the current situation is going to push that back a bit. Hopefully not, because I'm really, really looking forward to that. So the book was New Kid by Jerry Craft, available today on Overdrive. And finally, we have the book one in the Timmy Failure series, Mistakes Were Made. Now, this is, again, kind of like Captain Raptor, we're straddling the line here between graphic novels and another genre, in this case, fiction. This book, I always describe it as Calvin and Hobbes in the style of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which is just like the best combination I can think of for this age group. So it's about Timmy. Timmy runs a, a private detective agency out of his home with the help of his sidekick Total, who is a polar bear. I'll let you decide whether Total's real or not. It's absurd, but it touches on some real topics. So Timmy is silly, he's solving crimes with the help of his polar bear that he pays with chicken nuggets, and it's an absurd story. But as you go through the book and read, especially as other characters come into his life, you get a better idea of why he behaves the way he does, the real things, the tough things going on in his life that he's trying to cope with. And it's again, this is a book you're going to go through once and be entertained, and going to go through again and really get you thinking. There are, I think, 6 books now in this series. They're all great. I love them all. But I was so excited when this first book came out, because I'm a huge Stephan Pastis fan. If you're not aware, he is the writer of Pearls Before Swine, a syndicated comic strip. This is one of my favorite strips. His Labor Day strip. Oh, you're doing great. Just breathe. Deep, slow breaths. Just a little bit more. Visualize your cervix opening. You want to explain Labor Day to him, or should I? And ruin all this fun? No chance. So that's just a peek into the absurd humor of Stephan Pastis. But again, Timmy's Failure, while absurd, is going to touch on some real important topics that I think any kid is going to be able to recognize in their own life. All right, folks, that is all I have for you today. 5 more titles for you to read on Overdrive. Thanks so much for watching. As always, be kind to each other, be safe out there, and have a great day. All right, see ya. Bye.